Welcome to the JAMODI podcast. We are all surrounded by amazing coaches and leaders. So let's get an inside look at not just what they do, but how they do what they do. After all, becoming the best versions of ourselves is JAMODI, just a matter of doing it. Coaches, we are all searching for ways to better evaluate players in order to give meaningful feedback. Over 15 years ago, I put together a test called the JAMODI Skill Rating. The JSR takes players through a series of tests involving basketball skill or athleticism, giving them one rating at the end. Their JSR rating will give you clarity on what needs to be discussed with players and parents on areas they need to focus on improving. I test our players at least 4 times each year. They're able to compete against each other, past players' scores, and most importantly, their past performances. If you'd like to start testing your athletes, email me at jamodipodcast@gmail.com for more information. Yeah, Coach, I think one of the questions is like, what's a good culture building activity that you do with your program? Because I always love to hear little things that maybe it's a service project, maybe it's something that they do with their high school players down with the junior high. But to me, I do that too. I think it's a great culture building activity is to have your seniors at Faith. It's a rite of passage where a long time, like when they become juniors, hopefully they were here in junior high, so they remember the seniors at that point working camp, and they've been waiting for this moment to get up, and now it's their turn. Coach, you said ownership early on in this talk, like we need to create ownership. To me, that's how you do it. This is their program, and they're teaching up, coaching up the future, those Lions, and then you nailed it. How do we get appreciation, that grateful, blessed feeling? Put them in our shoes for just a little bit. And we can do that within practices as well. One of the best things I got from PGC, from directing with them for years, was allowing players when they're off the court to be evaluating another player. And when that game is done, they come together for 15, 20 seconds, and you share what you saw on that player. Here's one stretch, here's one strength. And then you flip it, and they've become coaches, co-creators of your program. But I think that work in camp, that's a great nugget.
Yeah. And I like the idea of, our guys, like you were saying, critiquing or evaluating each other. I see a lot of that in practice where guys go put their arms around a guy's shoulder and say, "Hey, you got to get this right," and it does my heart so good. I'm hoping they're saying the right things first.
Don't listen to him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
You need to shoot it 10 more times. You missed 15 in a row, but just shoot it 10 more times.
Yeah.
So it's like, but for the most part, I feel very confident that our guys do. But they, like, if you got a good, core and veteran guys, and they understand, they've been through the program, and they understand the way things have been done and the way things should be doing, you want them to be able to express that.
Yeah.
You don't want them to just hold on to that. And it's not their, it's their responsibility to make sure they do share and they do open up, and it creates an environment where everybody's learning.
And to that point, you need to have a common language as a program. You need to be saying the same things. If as a head coach, if I've got 3 or 4 different ways to talk about blocking out, then those 3 or 4 different ways, and probably assistant coaches that have their own ways, the message is going to get blurred. If it's clear, if there's a lot of clarity with what you're saying, then I think you start to see your players mimicking or saying the same things. And when they're mocking us or mimicking us, then we're in a good place.
Great place. Sometimes it can be funny or whatever it wants to be, but if they're saying the right things, it really does say that you're in a good place. And again, it just goes back to that culture piece. It goes back to just how you do things.
Yeah.
So,
but the intentionality that you have with creating those systems, those opportunities, that's the key. Because so many of us say that we want certain things. Like you said, I love what you said. You get what you expect or emphasize. You get what you emphasize. Yeah. So but we want to be a tougher team. We want to communicate better. And then we're frustrated that we don't do it. Look back, point that like extreme ownership, point that finger back. Like, when do we give them opportunities to practice those skills?
I mean, every day. Yeah. Every single day. I think it's an opportunity. When we do our film, we're getting ready for a team. We do our film edit. And I divvy up my scouts amongst our coaches, so everybody has like 6 or 7 scouts on the staff. And let's just say, it's my scout, and I'm walking into the, getting ready to go over film before practice and go through the scout, or go through part of the scout. I quiz the kids, like I start asking, hey, tell me something about number three, but it's amazing because this is something we preach and something we really build upon our success about preparation. Um, you get 8 or 9 hands raised to answer that question.
Yeah.
You're in a good place. And then let's say if somebody says something and they leave something out, another guy say, oh yeah, he's a capable shooter. Like when you get that kind of buy-in, because they believe in the preparation. I always tell them preparation breeds confidence. If you're prepared, you're gonna be confident.
Yeah.
You're gonna be confident no matter in what area of life. If you prepare, you will be more confident. It gives you opportunity to be more confident. And so, again, just every opportunity, every single day, we do something at the end of practice, what we call communication circle, and we adopted it from USA basketball. But I'll ask a question, and I'll have our guys lock arms, and after practicing, we'll just say, all right, tell the guy to your right something that he needs to improve on. And they'll look at the guy to their right and they'll tell them something that they believe that they need to improve on. And a lot of times they're spot on. And now we're not saying as coach, it's coming from your peer. A lot of times they have more ability as a peer to be able to get that across in a more acceptable manner, or something that they're going to accept more so than a coach who's just, sometimes we can be, we'll yap and we'll continue to nag and we'll continue to try to get it out of them. But I think it's a great opportunity for the kids to be able to speak to each other. And we might do one, we'll say, what's your favorite basketball movie? We'll make it fun sometimes. And then sometimes, tell me, give me 2 keys to the game to win this game on tomorrow. And, go around the room and you hear all these things and everybody's hearing all this stuff. And it's just like a bank of information just going in. And they remember it because it was said, in that little setting. And again, these are opportunities for guys to be able to speak out and speak life into this team.
Yeah. And what a great opportunity too to end practice on a high note.
Absolutely.
Because we don't, I wonder how many times this happens. Like this happens, the last drill we were doing, it's just something negative, something that just got us as coaches just upset, but the time is up. Get together and everybody leaves pissed off and not feeling like we're moving forward. I think that's up to us, is to give that time at the end to recenter, make sure that everybody, but it doesn't just have to be about basketball. Like you said, best basketball movie. Get their minds off of good or bad, what just happened. Remember what it feels like to be a part of the team. That's a good nugget.
We'll ask them even like, what are you listening to right now? What's in your rotation on your music right now?
Yeah.
What's your song you like to listen to before the game to get you going? And it's amazing to hear the different genres and the different, music that everybody likes to listen to. And every once in a while, us coaches will jump in and we'll say something and then give us that humanistic standpoint. They can say, oh man, they're human. Like coach, like Earth, Wind, and Fire. Whoa, coach, what you listening to, man? You're not listening to, Jay-Z or Lil Baby or whatever, So, that's why I like.
Nice. You said one thing about when you were asking them questions, and you said you had 8 to 10 hands like in the air. I think that's something too. There has to be a distinction between, do all of your players, are they all really investing in the communication, the culture? 8 to 10 hands shows me that is happening. Or are we asking a question and the same 1 or 2 guys are answering every single time? We got to be careful with that. Like we can't be blind to think that, our culture is strong. They know it. Or is it really that? Or is it only 1 or 2? And that's where I think you having the awareness to make sure that you, like a lot of different hands, give different people opportunities to answer, not just little Timmy that it knows everything. And because little Timmy says it every time, we think the culture is in a good place. You got to be careful with that.
Absolutely. And the thing about it is like, We got guys that don't start or might not projected to play a lot of minutes, and they still know the scout and they know the information in the scout, which gives us as a coach, as a coaching staff, hey, that kid's ready. If the opportunity presents itself, we got to give him the opportunity because he's done what he's supposed to do. And if he knows that much of it, it might grant him an opportunity in a game that he might not otherwise have gotten just based on, let's just say, if it was a talent or skill or, playing time thing. But it just gives you way more information and data to be able to process as a coach and be able to, utilize your players to the maximum of their
Hmm.
ability. And some kids, like, and at one point in the season, we'll let them, come up with the practice plan and carry out a practice. And so they'll get together and it's amazing to watch, coach, what's that drill name that we do? When we do, it's like, you tell them and it's like, but they're there. It puts them, in a present state of mind,
Yeah,
keeps them, again, they have to take a responsibility for our
man.
program. And I think it's a great opportunity for them to do it. So we do that like once or twice a year, and it gives them, full ownership of practice. And we just sit there. We don't really, we try to say, well, we're not going to say, we're not going to tell you what to do. You guys tell us, and we'll coach you through whatever it is that you're doing, but we're not going to be the ones to say, all right, next we're doing this, and it makes fun. They have a lot of fun with it. They have a lot of fun, meaning like not, like silly fun, but they just have fun with the aspect of, wow, this is what goes into planning a practice.
Well,
Like,
I mean, as human beings, like, are we more excited when we're just being told to do something or when we feel like it's our idea? I'm way more excited when I feel like it's my idea that we're doing. And so,
absolutely.
yeah, no doubt.
Them being able to do that, it does more for them and for our program and for our culture of our program than any coach could ask for. I mean, it makes it great.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the JAMODI podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.